Have you ever sat down with your morning toast or cereal and wondered, is this really helping my body or quietly hurting it? As we age, the foods we once thought were harmless can start to work against us. And breakfast, the meal that sets the tone for your entire day, is often where the most hidden dangers lie. If you're over 60, your body is changing in ways you may not even realize. What once gave you energy might now be raising your blood pressure, straining your heart, or contributing to those nagging aches and digestive troubles. But here's the good news. Small shifts can lead to big transformations. In this video, we'll uncover 3 breakfast habits that many seniors unknowingly fall into. Habits that could be slowly impacting your health. But don't worry, we won't just tell you what to avoid. We'll guide you towards simple, nourishing alternatives that can restore your energy, protect your heart, and help you feel like yourself again. So pour yourself a cup of tea, settle in, and stay with us. What you learn in the next few minutes might just change the way you start every day, for the better. Number 1, processed foods. For many older adults, mornings often begin the same way, quiet, unrushed, familiar. And in that comforting routine, it's easy to reach for breakfast foods that seem quick, easy, and harmless. A packet of instant oatmeal, a frozen waffle, a slice of toast from a bag that sat on the counter all week. These foods have become part of the rhythm of aging alone or with a spouse. They feel safe, known. But what if I told you these very items, convenient as they may be, could be quietly undermining your health? Let me introduce you to Harold. He's 74, a retired mailman from Ohio. For years, Harold's mornings looked the same. Microwave oatmeal, 2 store-bought pastries, and a cup of black coffee. It was just easy, he told me. Didn't think much of it. But when his doctor sat him down after a routine checkup and gently pushed a paper across the table, his blood pressure higher than it had ever been, his kidneys showing early signs of strain, Harold felt like the rug had been pulled out from under him. It wasn't the sweets or salt he binged on. It was breakfast, the one meal he thought he had figured out. The truth is, as we age, our bodies process food differently. What felt fine in your 40s can become dangerous in your 70s. Dr. Margaret Lynn, a nutritionist specializing in geriatric care, puts it clearly. After 60, your body becomes more sensitive to excess salt, hidden sugars, and chemical preservatives. And processed foods are often packed with all 3. Let's break that down. A single packet of flavored instant oatmeal can carry up to 200 milligrams of sodium, and that's just one item. If you've already got high blood pressure, that's fuel to a dangerous fire. Those frozen waffles you might toast for breakfast, they often come with added sugars and artificial flavors that spike your blood sugar and feed inflammation in the body. The pastries, though comforting, usually combine saturated fats and refined carbs that contribute to artery buildup and sluggish digestion. And here's something many older adults don't realize. As kidney function naturally declines with age, your ability to flush out excess sodium becomes limited. That means processed meats like bacon, sausage, or even those healthy turkey slices, they can put an extra burden on your kidneys, potentially leading to long-term complications like chronic kidney disease or heart failure. But the danger isn't just physical, it's emotional too. Think of how Harold felt, betrayed in a way. He thought he was doing okay. He wasn't eating fast food or drinking soda. But those quiet, convenient breakfasts were slowly eroding his well-being. I didn't feel sick, he said, but now that I've stopped, I didn't realize how foggy I had become, how tired. My knees feel better. I sleep deeper. It's like waking up from a sleep I didn't know I was in. And yet, perhaps the biggest trap for seniors today is not the food itself, but the marketing behind it. So many companies now package breakfast bars, shakes, or frozen health meals with slogans like Heart Smart, low cholesterol, or senior-friendly. But flip the label. Look at the ingredients. Many of them are still loaded with processed sugars, sodium, and synthetic preservatives. A sprinkle of vitamins added in doesn't erase the damage those other elements can do. Dr. Lin warns, just because something is labeled as healthy doesn't mean it's good for aging bodies, especially not when it comes with artificial stabilizers or excessive sodium. The good news? Change is within reach, and it starts small. You don't have to abandon breakfast. You just need to shift what's on the plate, Swap that packet of flavored oatmeal for plain rolled oats and top it with fresh banana slices or chopped nuts. Replace frozen waffles with a slice of sprouted whole grain bread and a smear of almond butter. Keep it simple, keep it whole, and most importantly, keep it kind to your body. Because breakfast should energize you, not drag you down. It should support your heart, kidneys, and brain, not work against them. You've taken care of others your whole life. Now it's time to take care of yourself, starting with the very first bite of the day. Number 2, foods high in refined sugar. There's something familiar, even comforting, about beginning the day with a touch of sweetness. A glass of orange juice catching the morning light, a dollop of fruit yogurt, a soft pastry warmed just enough to melt on the tongue. For many older adults, these morning rituals are more than just breakfast. They're small joys, quiet routines that feel like kindness to oneself. But beneath that comforting sweetness, there may lie a danger that's easy to overlook. This brings us to Helen. At 72, she considered herself a fairly health-conscious woman. She'd spent her life caring for others, her children, her grandchildren, her late husband. Now that she finally had time for herself, she tried to make her mornings gentle and enjoyable. A glass of fresh orange juice, a flavored yogurt cup from the fridge, and occasionally a berry Danish from the local bakery. It felt like I was doing something nice for myself, she would later say. I never imagined it was doing me harm. But everything shifted during a regular checkup when her doctor delivered news that caught her completely off guard. Her blood sugar levels had crept into the diabetic range. Helen was stunned. She wasn't overweight, didn't eat junk food, and rarely touched dessert. I thought I was being healthy, she confessed. I didn't realize how much sugar I was really taking in. What Helen and many others didn't know is that refined sugar has a way of sneaking into breakfast in disguise. It hides behind labels that say natural, light, or fruit-flavored. It lingers in drinks we think of as nourishing. And worst of all, it doesn't reveal its harm until the damage has already begun. Dr. Charles Meyer, a physician who has worked with seniors for over 2 decades, often uses a simple phrase with his patients. After 60, sugar doesn't play fair anymore. That's because our bodies, as they age, become less efficient at handling glucose. The pancreas, which once easily produced insulin to regulate blood sugar, now works slower, less reliably. The result? Even a modest amount of refined sugar can send blood sugar levels soaring and then crashing just as quickly. Dr. Meyer once showed Helen a startling comparison. That breakfast you love, he said, contains more sugar than a candy bar, and in some cases, more than 4. Shimmer. A glass of orange juice, for example, may look wholesome, but it's often a concentrated extract of 3 or 4 oranges, minus the fiber. It floods the bloodstream with sugar that the body can't slow down. A flavored yogurt? It might have as much sugar as a scoop of ice cream. Even cereals labeled as heart healthy often hide teaspoons of added sugar in every serving. These hidden sugars wreak havoc quietly. Within minutes of eating, your blood sugar spikes. Your body responds by pumping out insulin, trying to catch up. But that spike is always followed by a crash, a sudden drop in blood sugar that can leave you feeling shaky, fatigued, irritable, or even dizzy. And if you're over 60, those swings are more than uncomfortable. They're dangerous. That crash often leads to a craving, a desire for more sugar to feel better. And so the cycle begins. High, low, reach for more. Over time, this pattern can lead to insulin resistance, prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, weight gain, and even increased risk of heart disease. But what's most insidious is how easy it is to miss the signs. Many seniors don't feel ill. They just feel a little more tired, a little more forgetful, a little more unsteady. They chalk it up to aging, not realizing it may be a sugar-fueled spiral. Another of Dr. Meyer's patients, Robert, faced a similar reckoning. He had always believed he was careful about what he ate. No junk food, he'd say proudly. But when he started tracking his breakfast habits, he realized the truth. His low-fat granola, fruit yogurt, and glass of juice added up to nearly 40 grams of sugar. That's almost 10 teaspoons, his doctor told him, and that's just breakfast. I couldn't believe it, Robert said later. I thought I was doing everything right. His story, like Helen's, is far from rare. In fact, many older adults have no idea that foods marketed as healthy or light are often loaded with refined sugars. The result is a quiet epidemic, one that damages bodies slowly but surely, day after day. So what's the solution? It begins with awareness. The key is to start reading labels, not just the big words on the front of the box, but the fine print on the back. Learn to recognize hidden sugars, anything ending in O's, like glucose, fructose, or sucrose, syrups, or anything that sounds overly sweet. Know that fruit juice, even if it says no sugar added, is still high in natural sugars and lacks the fiber that helps slow absorption. Yogurt is best when it's plain, with fresh fruit added at home. And cereals? Opt for whole grains with no added sweeteners, or better yet, make a warm bowl of oats yourself. But more than that, change the story you tell yourself about breakfast. It doesn't need to be sweet to be satisfying. A slice of whole grain toast with avocado, a boiled egg, a bowl of oatmeal with cinnamon and walnuts. These meals nourish without spiking your sugar. They give your body the fuel it needs without the crash. They support your energy, your focus, and your health. Helen eventually made the shift. It wasn't easy. Those sweet breakfasts had been part of her life for years. But little by little, she swapped juice for water with lemon, flavored yogurt for plain Greek with berries, and pastries for sprouted toast with almond butter. It felt strange at first, she said, but now I feel better, more even. I don't get that tired wave mid-morning anymore. She's not alone. Dr. Meyer has seen it time and again. Patients who, once they remove refined sugar from their morning routine, report feeling steadier, more alert, and more in control. It's not about being perfect, he reminds them. It's about making better choices, one meal at a time. And that's the heart of this message. You don't have to overhaul everything at once. Just begin with breakfast. Pay attention to what's really in your food. Notice how you feel an hour or two later. And above all, remember that it's never too late to take care of yourself with intention and love. Because aging well isn't about giving things up. It's about giving yourself the chance to feel strong, clear, and full of life again. And that begins quite simply with what's on your plate when the sun rises. Number 3, fats. Let's talk about something most of us have come to associate with comfort, tradition, even strength. Fats. The kind that sizzle on the pan, the kind that melt into your morning toast, the kind that remind us of simpler days when breakfast was hearty and rich. For years, these foods have been the quiet centerpiece of so many American mornings. Eggs fried in butter, crispy strips of bacon, golden sausage links, a flaky croissant fresh out of the oven. They bring back memories of weekend breakfast with family, of full bellies and content hearts. But as we grow older, what once felt nourishing can quietly turn into something harmful. And often, we don't even notice the change until it's too late. Take Roger, for example. He's 75, a retired mechanic who still rises before the sun out of habit. For decades, his breakfast was a fixed ritual. 2 eggs, over easy, 3 strips of bacon, a slice of sourdough toast, thick with butter. It made him feel strong, ready to face the day. I figured if it kept me going in my 40s, it'd do the same now, Roger would say, laughing over coffee with his neighbors. That's how I was raised. But during a recent checkup, Roger's doctor gave him news he wasn't expecting. His cholesterol had spiked. His blood pressure was up. And there were signs, subtle but serious, that his heart was under more strain than it should be. It hit me hard, Roger admitted, because I didn't feel sick. I felt normal, but inside things were clearly changing. Dr. Elaine Cooper, a cardiologist with decades of experience treating older adults, often sees this story unfold. The metabolism changes drastically after 60, she explains. The fats your body used to break down easily now linger longer in your system. Your arteries, which were once flexible and forgiving, become more rigid, more sensitive to buildup. What that means is the same foods you tolerated before can now quietly cause harm. The biggest concern here? Saturated fats, the kind found in bacon, sausage, butter, and many pastries. These fats are known to raise LDL cholesterol, often called bad cholesterol. And as Dr. Cooper puts it, when your LDL levels climb, plaque begins to form inside your arteries. It's like gunk building up in a pipe. It narrows the space, blocks the flow, and increases the pressure. For seniors whose arteries may already be narrowing with age, this creates a dangerous combination. The risk of heart attacks, strokes, and chronic inflammation grows, often without clear warning signs. And it's not just your heart that suffers. High-fat breakfast can sap your energy throughout the day. When your body has to work extra hard to digest heavy fats first thing in the morning, it uses up energy that could have gone to your brain, your muscles, or your immune system. Many of my patients tell me they feel sluggish or mentally foggy after breakfast, says Dr. Cooper. They think they need more coffee, but what they really need is a lighter, cleaner start to their day. Take another story, that of Grace, a 68-year-old woman from North Carolina. Grace used to begin her mornings with a croissant and a creamy latte. It felt like a treat, she said. Not as heavy as bacon and eggs, so I thought it was better. But after several months of nagging joint pain, bloating, and frequent fatigue, she visited her doctor. Tests showed systemic inflammation, and her physician pointed directly to her breakfast. That seemingly delicate pastry, it contained as much saturated fat as 4 strips of bacon. The cream in her coffee drink, full of trans fats and hidden sugars. I was shocked, Grace confessed. I didn't realize that something that felt so light could be doing me so much harm. Once she shifted to a breakfast of oatmeal with walnuts and a boiled egg, her inflammation levels began to drop. Her energy returned, and most importantly, she felt like she had control again. That's what this is all about, control, awareness, not fear or guilt, but the empowerment that comes from understanding your body's changing needs. As Dr. Cooper says, your 70s and 80s are not the time to load your system with heavy fuel. You need clean, burning energy now. Think of your body like a classic car. It's built to last, but only if you take care of the engine. Fats aren't the enemy. Your body needs them, but it needs the right kinds. Healthy fats from avocado, olive oil, chia seeds, and nuts help support brain function, joint health, and hormone balance. The problem lies in the overload of saturated and trans fats that so often sneak into breakfast foods, especially the ones marketed as comforting or traditional. Even foods that seem innocent, like buttery biscuits, puff pastries, or sausages labeled as organic or natural, can be loaded with fats that do more harm than good. And for seniors, these choices accumulate. Every bite is either helping your body heal or making it work harder to cope. So what can we do? It begins with reimagining breakfast, not as a sacrifice, but as an act of self-respect. Swap the bacon for smoked salmon or grilled mushrooms. Trade buttered toast for avocado spread. Skip the sausage and try a tofu scramble or a small handful of nuts with your oatmeal. Choose low-fat Greek yogurt over processed pastries and add flax seeds or berries to boost fiber and omega-3s. These changes might seem small, but their ripple effects on your heart, your energy, and your overall vitality are profound. And remember, this isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Even cutting back on fatty breakfast to once a week can make a measurable difference. The goal isn't to eliminate every indulgence. It's to build a new rhythm, one that honors the stage of life you're in now, with foods that help you feel steady, strong, and alive. Roger eventually swapped his 3 slices of bacon for a veggie omelet with a slice of whole grain toast. He says he doesn't miss the grease. I feel lighter, more awake. I still miss the smell of bacon, sure, but I love how I feel now more than I love how it tasted then. That's the shift we're inviting you to consider. Not just how food tastes, but how it makes you feel, how it fuels your morning, your day, your years ahead. Because at this stage of life, food isn't just fuel, it's medicine, it's energy. It's your partner in aging with strength and grace, and you deserve to feel your best every single morning. As we bring this journey to a close, take a moment to think back on what you've just discovered. The quiet habits we've held on to for years, the comforting slice of buttered toast, the sizzling bacon, the sweet little pastry, may feel familiar, even earned. But as our bodies grow older, the truth becomes clearer. What once gave us energy can slowly chip away at our strength, our clarity, our heart health. Today, we've uncovered the hidden impact of fatty breakfast staples, the way they strain our hearts, drain our energy, and quietly raise our risk for disease. But we've also learned that it's never too late to choose differently. A small shift in your morning routine can lead to steadier blood pressure, brighter energy, a clearer mind, and perhaps most importantly, a greater sense of control over your well-being. So what's one thing that stayed with you today? A simple truth? A story? A new awareness? Share your thoughts below with just a few words, one key change, and let's inspire one another with the small steps we're ready to take. If this message spoke to you, feel free to like or share it with someone who might benefit from a gentler, wiser start to their morning. And if you'd like more thoughtful guidance on living well as we age, I invite you to subscribe so we can continue learning, growing, and strengthening together. You deserve mornings that nourish, not drain you. And remember, the next chapter of your health can begin with something as simple as your next breakfast choice. See you in the next video, where we'll take another step toward a stronger, more vibrant life.